Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Russo, and welcome to Introduction to Anatomy and Physiology with Lab. During the first week of the class, I always get a lot of questions pertaining to the lab and how to access it and run the experiments each week. So what I want to do is just take a few moments to go over this with you all. In order to get into the labs, the first thing you need to do is click on Lessons, and then Course Materials. You'll see access to both the textbook and also the lab manual, and in a moment how to actually see the lab simulation that you'll be running for the course. In order to get to the textbook, you just click on each chapter, and once you click on the chapter, you just need to give your student information, and they'll download a PDF of that chapter, which you can save to your hard drive. The laboratory has an ebook, laboratory ebook, which is essentially the lab manual. And then also a site where you need to run the actual experiments. For first of all, the ebook is you'll click on this link and you'll see access to the course, ebook login. You click on ebook login, and below here you'll have access to the entire ebook or each individual chapter. So if you want to access a chapter, you just click on chapter 10. You'll say enter the password on the next screen you come to. The password is given back here on the course materials page. It's APUS student. So I click in APUS student. Click OK. And there it is. It's the exercise 10 or chapter 10, and it's a hard copy. You can actually save it if you wish as a hard copy. Just click on download here. Okay. And you type in that same password, APUS student, click OK, and it'll enable you to save it to your disk. One thing I recommend doing for each lab every week is to go through and read the overview, study it. Don't just read it, study it. And then answer the pre-lab quiz questions. And then you'll see the activities. Again, there's some objectives listed, a brief introduction to that activity, and then instructions on how to run the experiment. And the screen here is what you'll see when you actually go to and run the experiments. And you'll have some predict questions along the way to answer. You might have one, you might have up to maybe 6 or 7 of them, depending on what lab you're doing. And then a chart that you can fill out as well. And again, you'll have the same data chart in the lab simulation. Okay, but I strongly recommend reading through the lab manual first before you go in and run the lab. Okay, so that's the ebook. Now, to get to the actual lab experiment, you have the same link. You'll see I'll just click this, click on that same link, and it's the same page. Ebook login, and below you'll see laboratory simulations. Click on laboratory simulations, and the first thing you need to do is register with Pearson. And this is where a lot of people get confused. Click on register, come to the next page, accept, and most of you won't have an account, so you just click on no. Create a login name and a password, retype your password, and then below here you'll see access code. The access code is located down here under additional resources. That's your access code for the course. So what you'll do is you'll copy that into each of these boxes here, and then click next. And once you click next, you'll then have an opportunity to log in and actually access the labs. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this for now, because I already have an account. I'm going to log in. Save that. I don't need to remember that. And it takes you to the labs. And every week, you'll see. First week, you start with exercise 10, acid-base balance. Open it up, and you'll see the overview. It's the same that's in the ebook. So you have your overview, and then you can go in and run the entire lab from here. 3 pages to the overview. And then you go right into the first exercise, hyperventilation. The objectives, same as before that I showed you. Introduction. The pre-lab quiz. Now this is why I said take the pre-lab quiz first in the ebook. Then you can go on and take the same quiz here. And I'm not going to answer these questions. I'm just going to run through them real quick here. Because when you're finished, you just click submit. And then it takes you to the next step of the experiment. In this case, it's the actual experiment. And you follow the instructions here on the left column. And when you run your experiment, you'll be filling in your results in this data table, which is the same data table which was in the ebook. Okay. And what will happen is at the end, you'll actually get a report that has all this data that you saved along the way. Okay. I'm not going to take some time to do this, so I'm not going to do this right now. I'm just showing you, where to go to run the lab. After you finish the experiment, you go to post-lab quiz, and you'll see there's a quiz. It's the same that's in the ebook. Go through, take it, submit. And there's some review sheet questions. You type your answers in. Second question, you do the same. Third question, fourth question. And there might be 4, 5, 6, 7 sometimes questions in these labs. Submit. And then the last page here is the lab report. And that's the entire lab result. And there's no, when you get this as a, when you actually do the lab, you'll see the graphs and charts as well from your data. You save it to a PDF. Save it. I'm just going to cancel. I'm not going to save it to my computer. And then once you save it, that's it. You have it on your drive, and you'll submit it when asked to during the first quiz. Okay, so that's how you access and run the labs. I'm just going to close these for now. Go back to lessons, table of contents. And the first week's lesson here, you'll see, as you scroll down, lab. And it's essentially the same thing, except it gives more specific detailed instructions on that lab for that week. For example, week 1 here, you're going to do exercise 10, acid-base balance, activity 1, hyperventilation, activity 2, rebreathing. And those are the only 2 you need to do. You don't need to do the other activities in that exercise. And every week it'll tell you in these instructions which activities to do and save your results from. Okay, so that's how to access the labs. In addition, I might have an additional resource for you to look at that just explains a little bit more about the importance of that lab and why it's in the, why we've included it in the class. And this link here, this is an article about metabolic and endocrine effects of metabolic acidosis in humans, which is a concept. You'll learn about this when you run the lab, what that is. And you click on the link, and it'll take you to the article. So you can download the article here, and it talks about some of the long-term consequences of metabolic acidosis and some of the things that can cause it. And that's it. That's how to access the labs. So what you can do is, if you have any questions about this, is you can send me. Don't hesitate to hesitate to send me a message during the week, and I hope everybody gets off to a good start to the course.